sort of the way the regular season ended, but a great finish there in the Pac-12 championship game. What are you looking for against that Iowa State defense that you guys are looking to kind of dictate the game from an offensive standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, obviously excited about the opportunity to be in the Fiesta Bowl, representing the Pac-12 as a champions of the league. This will be my second opportunity personally to be at the Fiesta Bowl. You know, unbelievable experience, our first time down there outside of the game. But, you know, Iowa State is, you know, presents a very unique challenge on defense with their kind of odd stack front, and you know, variety of coverages and looks and disguises, and they bring pressure from all different, you know, places and angles, and they've done a great job there. So it'll be a huge challenge. We're excited for it. Kids have had a great couple weeks of preparation, so we got to keep it rolling this week.
Thanks, Coach. And I invite people to raise your hand, and we'll get into the question and answer period. First, we're going to go to AJ Jacobson from Rivals. AJ, please go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned, you know, Iowa State, obviously with all the angles and the different pressures you see and the, you know, the shifting they do on defense. From a blocking perspective, what is the key to trying to account for that stuff?
Yeah, I think it's identification. You know, on first and second down, you know, they align in an odd front. So with the 0-nose, 2-5 techniques, 2 inside backers, the challenge is the location of the linebackers and the safeties. So they do play with a 3 safety look, and really the I said the identification of who's who and who's where, and you know, where you're zoning to or who the point is in protection, things like that. That's what presents the most unique challenge. Just the identification and the variety of looks they're able to present from the 3 safety look.
James Crapia from the Oregonian. Good morning.
Morning, Joe. I know you said you'd faced the 3-3-5 before. I know it wouldn't have been in the SEC, and it wasn't out here recently. When was it? Was it at Fordham? Because I don't remember it in the Big Ten during your tenure there. When did you last play the 3-3-5? Yeah,
well, when I was at Akron, our base defense was the odd stack. Okay. So we saw it every day in practice. At Fordham, Villanova ran an odd stack, and we played them, I think, 3 of my 4 years there. And then Stephen F. Austin, my first game at Mississippi State, was an odd stack. Now, those were a little bit of a different configuration. You know, Iowa State's not a true stack per se. Their backers are kind of evened up in the box, so it is a little bit different in terms of how the box presents itself. But a lot of coverage structure, and they're very. It's a you could tell they put a lot of work into it, and it's a little bit different than some of the odd stack or odd defenses that you see just because of the 3 safety look.
As a
presents the most unique challenge.
As a follower, Joe, I know it predates you, but in terms of teaching your guys in this offense. They played Nevada last year, and they ran a 3-3-5. Is there any crossover, or is it just because of the sheer volume of the offensive line totally changing and a quarterback changing that basically everybody's learning it the first time, or is some of it applicable to what they did face a year ago?
Yeah, we haven't really delved into the Nevada game, but I think, you know, our defense plays some, you know, 3-down odd looks. So the front is going to be relatively similar, but like I said, it's the 3 safety and the disguise and the, you know, those guys are buzzing all over the place. That's what makes it most challenging.
Thank you. Zachary Martin from the Iowa State Daily.
Hi, Coach. When you watch the defense on film, is there a player or a couple players that really stand out that you think is going to make it challenging for your offense to generate some rushing and just offensive yardage in general? Yeah,
Bailey and McDonald, 3 and 9. Those guys are as good of a defensive end combination just in terms of playing the run and rushing the passer that we've seen all year. I think the Rose kid, number 23, player of the year in the league, incredibly active, very physical, great in pass protection. I think he has 4 interceptions as well. Always finds a way to just get his hand on the football or make a play. Just very instinctive, very physical. He's incredibly impressive. A good cast of defensive backs. And Isheen plays with incredible downhill physicality. He does a great job in the run too, and they do a great job fitting him in there. So, it's a great defense, and those are the guys that we think we've highlighted as potential game wreckers.
Thank you, Jose Romero from here in Arizona at the Arizona Republic.
Hey, Coach. Good morning.
Morning.
Let's go back to the Pac-12 championship game. for a second. What did Anthony Brown give your offense, and how did you feel that worked to the combination with he and Tyler?
I thought it worked well. The guys, combined for 4 touchdown passes in a limited number of attempts, so they were efficient in their productivity. But Anthony provides a very calming, veteran kind of mindset and mentality. He's played a lot of football at a high level. So when we put him in those situations in the goal line and third down and fourth down and short, I think he did a really nice job, and he did well in the role that we provided him. He did a very, very good job, and I thought those guys played very complimentary of each other.
Matt from 247, please go ahead.
Yeah, Joe. Sean was also another guy in that Pac-12 championship game to get a lot of run for you guys at running back. I'm just curious, what's his role moving forward this week with CJ's, I guess, availability potentially being up in the air a little bit, and just kind of what have you seen the growth from Sean this year?
Yeah, we're doing what we normally do. Coach Mastro's rolling those guys through in practice and getting them the reps we need, and we've had an extra week of preparation, so we've been able to rep a lot of our plays against their multiple looks. But Sean is incredibly explosive, very, very fast football player, can make people miss in space, and I think the more touches he gets and the more game experience we provide him, the better he's going to play. So we're certainly excited about his immediate impact on this game and his future in the program. He's a very good football player.
Go back to James Crapia for a follow-up question. James.
Between you guys just getting healthier and a little bit of a different matchup defensively, Joe, you mentioned even after the championship game about, you want to take as many deep shots as you'd like to do, as much as the next guy. Do you think that, again, not asking you to give away things here, but do you think that this may offer that more than maybe USC did in terms of what Todd was showing you?
Yeah, I think we'll be able to be a little bit more balanced. And like I said, the fabric of every game is woven differently from a play calling perspective. And you really want to make sure that you're doing what you have to, not just to have the offense succeed, but, make sure you do the most important thing, which is to win the game. But I think, this matchup and our offense against their defense as it presents itself will probably allow for us to be a bit more balanced in our approach.
Next up is Warren Williamson. Good morning, Warren.
Hey, good morning. Joe, coaches sometimes have a tendency to throw in some wrinkles when it comes to bowl games. I'm just wondering where that is for you and how you view that in the lead up. Will there be maybe a few more wrinkles, or you try to play it pretty straight normal in your offense?
Yeah, I think you don't want to veer or stray too far away from what you do from a philosophical perspective. That's one thing that coaches tend to do is kind of outsmart yourself with time and overthink things. And but yeah, certainly there's going to be tweaks. Every week in the game plan, you get a little bit of extra time. So there'll be some different things that we do schematically. Maybe like I said, I don't want to give away too much, but yeah, the extra time allows you to delve a little bit deeper, into what you're doing and what the defense does, and making sure you're getting enough, plays on the call sheet that they're going to help you score points.
Back to James.
Joe, I realize that obviously you weren't here for the lion's share of the careers for Johnny and Jalen, and we'll talk to them and about their decisions for next year. But if this is it for them, can you just speak to the impact that they had this season? Because, we can just talk about the end of first half plays that each of them made in different games alone. I would think they made pretty enormous impacts to you in the passing game in the one season you have been here.
Yeah, I love those two kids. They bring an unbelievable amount of passion and energy and positivity, to the meeting room and to the practice field. Their approach is always the same. They're very consistent, great teammates, great kids. And like you said, have done a lot in their time at Oregon, in the past and this year as well. So, they've done a great job in practice this week. And hopefully they're able to come out in the game and do what they've done, which is play at a very, very high level. So like I said, you can't say enough about Johnny and J Red, two great kids and awesome football players as well.
Go to Tyson Alger from The Athletic. Good morning, Tyson.
Johnny and J-Red are obviously veterans, but you got a lot of young players on this offense. How has this year been from an overall developmental standpoint, just compared to like past years, and how will this group be kind of, how do you feel this group will be going into next season as well?
Yeah, I think it's been, I think the challenge of installing a new offense with a new quarterback and, 5 new offensive linemen, exacerbated by not having spring ball and, kind of a limited fall camp, for them to do what they've done and be able to, score over 30 in every game but one and, move the ball with pretty good consistency. I think it's a credit to them and the culture that Coach Cristobal has created here. And, every experience is new for a lot of these guys. And now, they get a chance to play in front of some fans for the first time in a big time bowl game. So every rep that we get in practice, every play that we run in the game, it's going to benefit us this year and certainly for our long-term development. And not to fast forward to next year, but you look ahead and, now it's not going to be, a bunch of new guys starting for the first time. Those guys that'll have, a bunch of games and experience under the belt.
Matt Preem from 247 is up.
James kind of touched on it as well, but Hunter Kempware was another guy that's a senior and has going to have a decision to make. And prior to your arrival, he statistically didn't really do much. He was really important in the run game, but there's obviously no stats there. But he's had a career year across the board. Just what has his impact been for you guys at tight end for this offense?
Uh-oh, what did I do there? Oh, there we go. All right. No, Hunter, and it sounds repetitious, but Hunter, I think to me is representative of the type of young man that we have in this program. Just a great kid, awesome teammate, a talented guy who can, affect the game in a positive manner, when he's blocking or when he's catching. And the tight end is and will always be a focal point of this offense. I'm not sure how many touchdowns those guys have on the season combined. It's 6, 7, 8, and they've done a great job there. And obviously the success we've had running the ball, but Tyler, Hunter's a great kid, and we need to continue him, practicing with the consistency that he does, and that him personally and that position group will continue to have a great impact on our offense and our team.
Back to AJ Jacobson from Rivals.
Coach, I realize this has been a compressed time frame getting ready for this Fiesta Bowl, but normally you get a chance in these bowl practices to look at some of the younger guys and see they don't normally get a chance to look at. Have you had a chance to do that, or has it just been focused on Iowa State? And if so, what have your impressions been of the youngsters? Yeah,
last week there was a bit more focus on the developmental aspect of it and getting some of those young guys repetitions against each other. As it's progressed, it's been more game plan focus. But, Chris Hudson's a guy that doesn't, he gets in, doesn't play a ton, but I think he's got a huge amount of upside. Some of our young offensive linemen are really stepping up, and you're seeing those guys develop. And Coach creates a practice schedule where there's a huge emphasis on fundamentals and technique, at the beginning of practice. So that's a chance everybody gets to develop their craft. And, we've been – played a lot of young guys or inexperienced guys, but there are some guys that haven't, seen much game action that are either redshirting or, not going to be, available for, play this year that are going to have a huge upside impact on the program.
Max Torres from Scoop Doc. Please ask your question.
Morning, Coach. I want to talk about the tempo of the offense. I know with Mario's kind of ground and pound philosophy, it's been, grinding out the clock, but we've seen a little bit more up tempo from you this year. And we saw that 3rd and 7 run call late in the game. How do you kind of go about managing the tempo when the offense is having some trouble?
Excuse me. From a tempo standpoint, that there's a couple different approaches from a know-how perspective. You run plays as fast as you can, regardless of the defensive look presented and the speed at which you operate. It kind of allows you to maybe get out of a bad call, or you want to run the best play possible against the look presented. And that's what we do with our multi-tempo spread no huddle. So, like I said, there's going to be play calls in the game where maybe conventional wisdom would dictate you do something else. But as a play caller, I got to always, think about the team first and what's best for us, how the defense is playing, how the special teams playing, what we got to do to win the game. So we want to play as fast as we can, but we also want to be in the best look possible against the look presented. So I think us being able to do both of those has benefited us this year and historically in the context of this offense.
We'll go with Jeff Metcalf from the Arizona Republic.
Yeah, Coach, I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about kind of generally how Tyler has developed this season, and also just kind of what's going on down here in Arizona with all these quarterbacks coming out of here, going to play at different colleges.
Yeah, I think Tyler's developed, nicely throughout the season. Past couple games, there's some things that we need to clean up and get better. And you want it to get lost in the shuffle that he is a first year starting quarterback in a Power 5 school and a brand new offense. And the AP writers were kind enough to recognize him as an all league selection, so that was nice for him. And he had a very solid statistical year, and I'm an optimist. I'm a glass half full guy, so I'm happy with Tyler's progress. So there's some things we got to clean up, and he needs to improve, absolutely. But all of us do, across the board at all positions. So I think he's very adamant and possesses a great work ethic in his preparation. His practice habits are good. There's just some things that during the course of the game we got to clean up a little bit. But I think Tyler's played well, and certainly Arizona has been a recent hotbed for quarterback talent. And I think the Purdy kid, is he from Arizona as well? Yes. Yeah. So, there's a lot of great quarterbacks coming out of that area. So it'll be a good matchup between these two.
With Josh Shelton from KDRV.
Joe, just had a quick question. Normally in a bowl season, you have almost a month between games. Has this been a little bit easier to keep the momentum and everything going through practices as you head into this bowl game, being only a week and a half, 2 week gap?
Yeah, it's it's certainly lessened the time frame where the regular season ends, and then you have a little bit of time frame where you usually practice, and the kids cut loose and they get to go their way for a little bit, and then you meet down at the bowl and kind of resume practice again. So I think what I won't say lost, but what you miss out on a little bit is the developmental aspect of it, where you're getting the younger guys the repetitions and those guys competing against each other, just because we were forced to get into game plans so quickly. But yeah, we've never really lost focus on Iowa State, because we've started that preparation from the beginning. So the kids have been very, very locked in and focused on what they've been doing.
Our last question for Coach Moorhead will be from James Krapia from the Oregonian, and then we'll go into Tyler Shuck.
Joe, just back to Tyler. Obviously, everybody's been nitpicking the last couple of games, and it's small samples and the like. But what have you seen over the last week and a half of practice that gives you that optimism that he's going to get back on track in this game and close the season on a strong note, like he was the first 3+ games of the season, as opposed to the last 2?
Yeah, I mean, that's life. That happens in the quarterbacks. We talk about that. When you choose to play the position, you willingly accept the responsibility of playing the most scrutinized position of all organized sports. So players and coaches they're gonna be under that microscope, and that's just part of the job description. So the thing that I'm most proud about, I shouldn't say most proud. His approach hasn't changed, whether it's been success or some bumps in the road. So he's been very consistent in his approach. So now it's the application of the things that he's been doing in practice for 4 straight quarters, and kind of eliminating some of those hiccups that have occurred in the last few games. So, we just need to get him playing with confidence, being very, let's use the word again, very confident in his decision making, and just kind of getting some of that juice and that swagger back that he had at the beginning of the year, which he has in him, and success breeds confidence. So we just need to kind of get him back on the bike again and get him rolling.
Fantastic. Thank you, Coach Moorhead. Appreciate your time. We're going to